If this movie is any indication of how to get on Jimmy Kimmel and hit it big, well, then I gotta tell you, I got some lot better jokes than this guy in this film. Max is a stand-up comedian living with his father while struggling to co-parent his autistic son, Ezra, with his ex-wife. When forced to confront difficult decisions about their son's future, Max and Ezra embark on a cross-country road trip that has a transcendent impact on both their lives. The film stars Bobby Cannavale, William Fitzgerald, Robert De Niro, Rose Byrne, Vera Farmiga, Whoopi Goldberg, and Rainn Wilson, and was directed by Tony Goldwyn, and I've never seen any of his films before. With Ezra, I only saw the trailer for this one time. This studio, they don't really promote films all that much, so a lot of times I don't see their trailers when I actually go to the theater. So only seeing the trailer once, I didn't really remember a lot about the trailer. I just knew that Robert De Niro was in this film, and I was like, I'll go ahead and give this film a shot. Positives that I can take away from after seeing this film, the cast here is absolutely stacked. Robert De Niro, you got Vera Farmiga from the Conjuring films, Rainn Wilson from The Office here. You have a very outstanding cast that just does a pretty good job with what they're given. There's some solid performances here. Ezra, I think, is the standout here. William Fitzgerald, I had never heard of him. I think he represents kids with autism very well here. And I think that he's very funny as well, especially when trying to break up some of the dramatic moments here. I liked when he had a hug for the first time because he has a really big problem with people actually giving him a hug. And also when he meets these horses for the first time and he has those sensory issues that he has in the back of his mind. Those were like really good, heartfelt, and cute moments that I could actually crack a smile and enjoy when watching this film. It brings up a lot of certain topics, but doesn't really go full force into them. For instance, in the beginning of the film, the setup is that Ezra is acting out in class, and they call both of his parents to the office, and they say, hey, look, we're going to expel him. He's got all these crazy behavior issues, and we're not going to deal with it. He's going to go to a special school. This makes his dad really irate, and they also want to put his son on medication. He's very in denial about how his kid actually is, and the mother, she's a little bit more comforting. She's like, yeah, I think that he should probably go to the special school and he should be on the medication. So they differ in that aspect. And you really see Max really spiraling out of control. He ends up going to jail, in which he can't see his son for 3 months after getting some type of deal. So he's really just down and out on his luck. He's also is a comedian, in which he's not really making it big yet, although he does make it big. And apparently he is going to go to Jimmy Kimmel after having a really good performance. But I was thinking when he was this comedian, I was like, he's really not that funny. It wasn't really believable to me that he really even booked Jimmy Kimmel in the first place, because his jokes to me just didn't really land with me. I was never really finding myself laughing. If anything, in this film, Ezra was a lot more funnier than his dad himself. But the problem with this film is it really focuses more on the father and just his relationship with his son as a whole. You would think with the fact that his son is about 11 or 12 years old, he would know a little bit about the fact that he has autism and his different behaviors and everything, but he really just doesn't. And the film is more so about them going on this father-son trip in which he technically kidnaps his son, which was really weird because the film was very tonally all over the place. Is it supposed to be funny? Is it supposed to be serious? I felt like at times it was more funny than it needed to be, more so because it just was laughable at this plot, because he's sitting there and he's going across country. His ex-wife is worried about her son, and then you have the FBI and all these other people trying to track him down. It just was kind of messy. There's quite a bit of plot conveniences, mainly in the third act. I thought the third act, especially towards the ending, was super wacky, but there is a certain situation in which we meet Vera Farmiga's character, and this problem that actually occurs, it is solved within minutes with the characters actually meeting up again for the first time in years. And I was just like, wow, I definitely do not buy that. And there just just trying to push the whole plot along. Rainn Wilson playing the father of Bobby Cannavale, I did not believe that in the slightest, because Rainn Wilson is 58 years old and Bobby Cannavale is 54 years old. They could have had somebody a little bit older and made it a little bit more believable. I didn't like the fact that the little kid here, he is just being a decoy here, and it's so much more a story about Max. Maybe it should have been titled Max and Ezra, or just Max, because I feel like here we should have had a little bit more of a POV of Ezra and what he really goes through on a daily basis. We get a little bit here and there, and it touches on small little points, but we really need a movie where it really brings out a said character and we get to see what they actually go through on a daily basis. I believe that Ezra really represents kids very well here with autism, and I think that anybody that has a kid that has autism, or maybe they know a friend that has autism, I think there's going to be some heartfelt tugging on the strings moments within this film. But to me, I just think that it is very much tonally a mess. And also the FBI that is going after the father here, I was just like, are they even looking for him? I mean, they were absolutely terrible looking for him throughout this film. I mean, you would figure that they have the technology to track him down, and I just was kind of like, this plot is just kind of all over the place there, and I don't really know what is really going on with that. So in that aspect, it was just a little bit too wacky and too silly for me. Overall for me, though, I can say that there's some solid performances here. I think everybody is doing what they can despite the lack maybe of script at points for some characters. Robert De Niro here, he doesn't really have a hard role here. He doesn't have a ton to do. He's just trying to be the supportive father later on in the film, and he has his struggles with his son as well. So as far as a score for me, I would give this film a 2.5 out of 5. It's an okay film at best. I don't think it's something that I would probably watch again. I would say it's a light recommend. I would say check it out maybe. Just, you'll probably have some heartfelt moments in it. But again, I just think that it's tonally a little bit of a mess, and I feel like it's just a little bit all over the place. And that third act is very wacky to me, and just the wrap up to me is kind of wacky as well. It seems kind of convenient in certain places. And overall, it's a movie that you can just look back and say, I watched it, but I don't know if it's going to be very memorable down the line. What did you guys think of Ezra? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just think it was kind of meh? And if you haven't checked it out, are you going to check it out in a theater? Are you going to wait for streaming, or are you going to skip it altogether? Leave any and all comments down below and let me know, what is your favorite Robert De Niro film? Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.